Long time no chat, friends. And that's on me. That's on me. Um, I've been doing the life thing, living and learning and growing and being and becoming and shedding and choosing. And speaking of choice, today's episode will be about choice. And basically, what are we choosing? Um, what are we choosing to embody? What are we choosing as we become? What are we choosing just in this moment when choice feels like a daunting thing, when choice feels like it's being taken away from us? And in that, what does it mean to have the power to choose? I I just want to be stream of consciousness at this moment. I don't want to I don't want to overwhelm. I don't want to complicate this message. I just want to speak. I just want to cuz it's been on my heart. I The word choice, the word choose. These words have been like circling me and put it into perspective what I'm choosing. And it started with this question: how am I, or what am I choosing that is submitting to my demise? I don't know how I feel about the word demise, but I know that when I look around sometimes, when I look around my life, there's things that I'm choosing just because I'm not fully being intentional or being aware, and I'm kind of just passively living, choosing these things that end up not helping me. A very basic example: my glasses broke recently, and the moment that they broke, I kind of had a choice. They didn't initially break. They were like on my bed and just like in a weird way. I think I had made a mistake and sat on them. And I remember just being like, you need to be more intentional on where you put your glasses, because if you don't, there can be a moment where you like it just happens. You don't choose this, but it just happens because you wasn't intentional on putting your glasses at this specific spot. Um, and again, the moments passed, and I on my phone scrolling, glasses end up off my face. Destiny rolls over, and Destiny breaks her glasses. And now I have to wear contacts, and now I'm like living in an active effect of my choice, basically, if that makes sense. Um, but I want to read a poem first. I will say, guys, just bear with me. I'm getting back into the flow of things, and it feels good. I will say, it feels good to choose this moment. The sun is coming out and shining on me, and it's been gloomy these days. So this moment just feels right and guided. And if you've been here, and for the people who have been here since day one, I love you guys so much. Thank you always for reminding me of everything, truthfully. Like, you guys feel like an anchor to what I'm meant to be, what I'm meant to become. But if you've been here from the beginning, you know that these sessions are usually very like intuitive. I come out with them when I feel those calls, and we just flow. So if we're here, if you're here, let's just flow. It's a good like 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes into our segment. And if you continue to feel called to be here, I appreciate you. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote. But before I read this poem, I kind of just want to settle into my body. And I invite you also to settle into yourself. And let this question, this thought of choice, choosing, and what are we choosing, to start circulating your mind. And I'm just going to take a deep breath. And on my exhale, I'm going to hold it a little bit. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay. Okay. I'm on a perpetual healing journey, changing myself at a moment's notice, crossing out bad habits and replacing them with habits that help me vibrate higher. And as I reinvent myself, I am grateful. Those long nights help me to enter into an era of honesty and transparency. The shadows I called home no longer suit me. I'm trusting in God. I'm trusting in the divine, in my spirit team, and my ancestors. I'm getting out of my mind, releasing what is not mine to feel, and remembering who I used to be. I remember the little girl who was afraid of the world, and I'm reminded that in her eyes, I am doing enough. And right now, that's all that matters. I'm doing it for her. And what a joy it is to rediscover me. What a joy it is to realize that I am a goddess, a lotus that was always destined to be. What a joy it is to know that the work I put in today will secure a world worth living in for my children. What a joy it is to be liberated from the shackles of the world. What a joy it is to feel free in my black body. The act of choosing is a privilege I believe we take for granted. Living in a world that seeks to dismantle my power, I choose to push back and challenge the boundaries. No white man is going to tell me what I can and cannot do with my precious, divine life. I choose to live purposely and authentically. I choose to breathe deeply, often. I choose to dream big. I choose peace instead of submitting to chaos. I choose to embark on the callings placed on my heart. I choose to live life intentionally. I choose to talk to God. I choose to love boldly. I choose to snatch rest because I deserve it. I deserve it because it was never meant for me to burn myself out for the capitalistic agenda. I choose to have conversations that fuel the spark, to surround myself with people who are just as delusionally in love with life as I am. I choose to laugh with my full belly. I choose to share the gifts with the world. I choose to share my gifts with the world in hopes of making it a better place. I choose to be curious, always open to learning and expanding my mind. I choose to be a vessel of God, letting the divine flow through me at will. I choose to live, and I will not allow anyone to take that away from me. For I am my ancestors' wildest dream, a walking fairy tale, a myth that wasn't supposed to be. I am a cycle breaker, a change maker, a lover, a healer, a guide, a visionary. My name is Destiny Diamond. An intentional clog in the system, a walking earth angel, a light in the darkness, born to be something amazing. So today and every day, I choose me. I choose me. I choose me and beyond. That's what came up when I read that last sentence. I choose me and something more. Because even in this moment, it's still working out better than I could have possibly imagined. Even now, I'm sitting in limits because I don't know what God has in store for me. I don't know the greatness God has in store for me. But I know that doing things like this, choosing to do things like this, is a powerful act. And it tells God that I am seeking the symbols. I am using my preparation. And I'm trusting the path that is being laid out for me. This has been in my head to record, to speak, to share my bounty with my community, to share these thoughts and words, and just to show up authentically. Sometimes I have a problem with showing up just because everything's not perfect. But again, that's not what I want to create in this village that I'm creating. And so if that's not what I create, it's the choices that I'm making now that will get me to where I'm going. I pulled some cards before, and it was very interesting because most of the cards that I pulled reflect what I just read. I wrote that poem that I just read maybe 2 years ago now. And the cards that I pulled are just so aligned. But one of the cards that I'm looking at says, I deserve to live the life I've always dreamt of, and each day I take steps to make it a reality. And then I also got a card that says, Garden the Heart. Just focusing on those two right now. A garden in the heart. When you garden, first you must take account of what's there. You must be aware and see. What are you keeping? What are you not keeping? What is useful and what is not? Imagine you have a bed of calendula. And in this bed, you got some yarrow growing. You got some red clover. You got some dandelion. You got some plantain. All very useful herbs in their own regards. But this is a calendula bed. And these things can block the growth. These things are not useful in this moment for this specific thing. And I think that awareness is the first step to choosing what you want. Because how can you know what you want to choose if you're not even aware of what's happening in your life in the first place? I feel like I talk about the same topics because they are relevant, they are prevalent. We keep talking about collective change, and I must reiterate that there can be no collective change if there's not first individual change, and that starts with awareness. And from awareness, you can choose. You can choose to continue to live in those cycles, or you can choose something else. You can choose the knowing, the belief that there is more for you, that life is not meant to just be suffering. And I think this moment, it is essential, because we live in a world where we live, especially if you're living in America, things are happening. The tides are shifting. People are being woken up. I was going to say people are being called to wake up, and that is true. But I see that people are waking up. People are seeing that just because the systems surrounding us are present doesn't mean that they have the power to dictate a life, our life. And I find that very profound, to see people snatching back their power, their sovereignness, and saying, no, this is my life. And in my life, I'm going to reclaim my time. I'm going to choose what works for me. I'm going to follow my dreams. I'm going to choose my heart. Because just following your dreams, going on that path, that journey is very spiritual. And I would say a spiritual journey is not, it's not always easy. Sometimes it is hard. But this card, I deserve to live the life I've always dreamt of, and each day I take the steps to make it my reality. In the image, it's a woman fighting. And she has this prize-winning belt in mind. And every day, she's just going and doing it. And then the next card I have here, it says, I will come out of life's toughest times stronger, smarter, and more resilient than before. And then the next card I have, oops, everything's falling. I allow myself the freedom to feel and act in ways that serve who I am deep down. I'm not saying that by you choosing yourself, there won't be hard moments. But I am saying that by you choosing yourself, by you choosing something more for you, you will be divinely supported. We got a card, fall, and that is the affirmation. I am divinely supported. The days get shorter and the sun's vibrancy begins to wane as fall sets in. Fall brings you the reminder that life cannot continuously exist in summertime's high-octane energy. Eventually, it must give way to a dip, a downturn, a gentle beckoning to lower the volume just a tad. Fall asks you to be discerning. It is a season marked with taking stock of resources, readying for the cold of winter, and a time to get clear about what is at hand. Make an honest assessment of your skills, available assets, your community, and people with helpful knowledge. Reach out to those who might be able to play a role in supporting you at this time. This is a reminder that you have all the means, talent, and support available to you now, whatever you may need it, for whatever you may need it. You can breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling with relief, knowing that you are divinely guided and supported. I know, guys, that it's a quote New Year. Happy 2026. It's very colonial. Happy colonial New Year. And also, it's still the dead of winter, guys. And we still have at least a month, 2 months of deep, radical rest and reset. And I feel like that's why this message has been on my heart so much, because the time is coming, you know? Soon the buds will be sprouting and spring will be here. And that is exciting. And There can be so much beauty in your life, right? If you choose it. Yeah. If you choose to do something differently. And I know it's so scary to do something differently, to be in a cycle and always do it and always, have your routine. But are you happy? Are you exhausted? Are you joyful? Have you laughed deeply? Are you spending time with your community? What are you eating? Are you eating? When you wake up, are you immediately going on your phone and looking at the news? Are you spending all your time scrolling on TikTok? That's a call out. Are you getting exercise? Are you moving your body? Are you going outside? Are you breathing deeply? Are you writing? Are you doing the things that you enjoy? What are you choosing? It's literally those simple things, quote simple, because they're not simple sometimes if you're not being aware of it. And again, your life just passively happens. And I believe that there is so much beauty surrounding us, so much beauty being planted. But these things can sprout and bloom and be there for us. But if we don't choose to go and get it, what is it? Not what is it doing, but you're missing out. You're missing out on your blessings. And that's good and all, if that's what you want to do. But I don't think that's what you want to do, especially if you're here, especially if you're a part of this collective that is destined to be a lotus. What is a lotus? A lotus is a flower that grows through the mud. That's resilient and strong and whole. That's another card we have. I'm going to read it. I am whole. I am perfectly created. I am a wonderfully unique individual. Every lesson I have learned, every risk I have taken, and every achievement I have made contributed to who I am. Because of that, I am whole. I am whole and I am divinely supported. I think we don't make choices because we're afraid to succeed. We're afraid to fail. We're afraid to put ourselves out there. We're afraid to be judged. And we put so many, before it even happens, we put so much negativity. We start dreaming, daydreaming, and calling into existence what we want. And in the same breath of calling into what, slow down. In the same breath of calling in what we want, we also speak in fear. I want to do this, but when I do this, this might happen. But when I do this, I could do this, and this could end up negatively for me. Why are we speaking in fear into something that hasn't even happened? If you in this moment can say that this negativity can happen in this reality that doesn't even exist yet, you can also choose to say that the exact opposite, the more beautiful option, the better than you can imagine option exists as well. But again, what are you choosing? How are you choosing to view life? I think choice at this moment just feels very umbrella-y. It feels like that's like what everything boils down to. Because I could sit in this moment and be in this reality that I'm in. But I could be looking very half empty at life. Very woe is me. Very victim-y. But like, aren't we tired of being a victim? I know I am. How many times am I going to wake up and say, oh man, life is this way for me because of this, and I feel this way, blah, blah, blah. And it's not blah, like, okay, I'm gonna give you your props. I'm gonna give me my props. Like, these things that we experience are very real. But also, how are we choosing to shape it in our heads? How are we talking to ourselves? Like, yeah, it's going to feel very gloomy in your head if you're saying that life is gloomy, that nothing good is working out for you, and that you're not meant for more. Excuse me. Change that. Everything's working out in my favor better than it could have possibly imagined. I'm divinely protected, supported, and guided. It was meant for you to succeed. It is meant for me to succeed. And I choose it. I choose it. And I know that by me choosing to create something bigger than me, choosing to believe in myself, I am now co-creating with God. I am now co-creating with the universe. I am now co-creating with something bigger than myself. And just by that simple fact alone, life is great. Life is divine. Life is guided. Because now, by me choosing more, something more guided, something more intuitive, something more in flow, in alignment with what I want, and not just passively living, things happen. Things that you could have never imagined happen. And what a beauty that is. Reveal the lies. That's the next card that I want to talk about. Reveal the lies. What lies are we telling ourselves? And how are those things affecting our choices? I think one of the lies I tell myself, or not, I don't want to say tell myself, but I feel it sometimes, and I have to reground myself in knowing. But, I live in America. There's so much happening right now. And I'm praying for every soul that is impacted by an unjust system as it breaks away. And sometimes I can start to believe those lies of this government. Believe that I am not important in the eyes of, corporations or the people with the money, right? But then I think I don't really care about those people. If they don't see me and they see me as a number, a statistic, then is that really something I want to choose to be a part of? Choose their morals? The system was never built with me in mind. So why am I trying to chase it to have it choose me? It's just going to continue to drain me, continue to have me in perpetual burnout, continue to have me be a slave to it. But there's more. I have a purpose, a higher calling on my life. And in this lineage, we're done chasing to be chosen, trying to prove ourselves. We're just being. There's more. It's those two words that keep me going, that keep me choosing something differently, that keep me choosing through fear, you know? Because, like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy to choose something differently. But you're capable. Look at your life. Look at how far you have come. Look at the challenges you've overcome. Look at the moments where you chose yourself and or you chose something aligned. You chose something that make your heart feel good. And think about the moments where you didn't choose yourself. The moments where you chose something that didn't make your heart feel good. And one of the greatest things about life is that as long as we're breathing, we still have choices. We still have a chance to choose life, to choose to live a life rooted in abundance, love, divineness, prosperity. And these words might feel far off in this moment, but that doesn't mean it's not possible or attainable. But are you choosing to even consider it? We consider we consider all the possible worst outcomes in life. But how many times do we consider it working out in our favor? There's so many things in this lifetime that is not chosen for that is chosen for you. From you don't choose who you are. You don't choose your skin color. You don't choose how you appear to the world. Like, you know, how the white man sees you. Uh, but you can choose how you show up. You can choose how you look at life. You can choose how you take care of yourself. You can choose who you surround yourself with, who you feel called to love. You can choose your story or how your story continues. You may not have been able to choose how the story started, but the story is still ongoing. You chose to watch and listen to this. And if you're here 33 minutes in, then you know that there's something more for you. And you know that life is meant to be lived. Your life is meant to be lived. You're meant to be happy. You're meant to be joyful. You're meant to see that it was not all about suffering and that you were not put here just to suffer. But sometimes we need to stop choosing our suffering. And I'm not talking about moments where truly it is out of our control. I'm talking about things that we have in our control that make us suffer. I have eczema, and sometimes I'll eat Reese cups after Reese cup after Reese cup, and then eat some spaghetti, and then eat, I don't know, something else not good for my skin. And then I will scratch and I will be in pain and I will be uncomfortable and my mood will change and how I view myself in the mirror will change. And then when I think back on how did I get here, I think about my choices. And again, that also brings me back to awareness, because knowing that those things are not good for me is also key. If I never took account of knowing like what foods are good for me and what foods are not good for me, how would I know that this food is messing me up? But now that I know that this food is messing me up, why would I continue to choose to do it and repeat that pattern. What is that? That's insanity. When you keep repeating patterns, expecting a different outcome. Like, let's not practice that anymore, guys. Let's choose to be different. Literally, pivot. Like, imagine it in your head. Like, you literally just 180. And I know change is scary, change is hard, and all of that. But are you happy? Are you waking up and dreading your day? There can be something in your life that you can choose to do differently that will improve your quality. Whether it's just taking a 5-minute walk every day or starting to breathe a little bit more deeply every day, it doesn't have to be the biggest things in the world, guys. I'm not saying that you need to choose to be this totally new, different person and that all of a sudden everything is just going to be different and grand. And sometimes it does feel like that. Sometimes it is like that, but not all the time. Sometimes it's really those small choices, those intentional, inspired choices that can subtly change our life. And then say, wow, we look at life and we say, wow, who knew that the choices, the small choices that I make throughout my day can impact me so grandly? So yeah, that's my challenge for you. To start to assess what are you choosing. Start taking note. Start, again, always start dreaming, start envisioning something more for yourself. It's vision board time, y'all. And I think I might do something, maybe on my YouTube channel, surrounding vision boarding and dreaming and visioning. Dreaming is my jam, y'all. I love to envision something more. Because I know I'm destined for greatness. My name is Destiny Diamond. A name like that was not meant to be confined. And truthfully, guys, I'm stubborn. I'm so stubborn on my vision, on the callings that God has for me. And sometimes that could be to my detriment. Sometimes I personally feel like I am too stubborn, and then because of that, I'm making choices that lead me to continue to have to be resilient, if that makes sense. But this message is on my mind because it is a message and calling in my life. I'm being called to change and to make intentional small choices, and to assess how I'm choosing to show up in this life, especially because I have a vision for myself. I have I have a dream, and I know that by me passively living, that dream is not coming, because that's not what I'm calling in. I'm calling in an intentional life. I'm calling in a life rooted in love, community, abundance, divine, grace, and ease. But if I'm not making choices that align with those things, how could those things ever show up for me? For example, if I'm saying in 6 months I'm gonna run a marathon. Not even 6 months. Let's just say when you're dreaming and envisioning a life, you're like, this person I'm dreaming of, they run constant marathons. Like, they are a marathon runner. That is their thing, right? At a certain point in your reality, you're gonna need to start running. Whether that's just for 5 minutes a day or just 1 mile, but at a certain point, that consistency is gonna need to start, because the more you actively don't choose that aligned dream, or those aligned actions that aligns with that dream, the more it remains a dream and not a goal. I also have this card right here that says people with goals succeed because they know where they are going. Where are you going? Where are you going? And by knowing where you are going, you are able to make some intentional choices. This is just going to be my first piece um, regarding this topic. I want to spend more time on it actually. But I'm getting up to 40 minutes and I feel pretty satisfied with, you know, where we're heading. Um, but to leave you off, I want you to start to take account of what's happening. What are you choosing? When you wake up in the morning, what are you choosing? What are you choosing throughout your day? What are you eating? Who are you hanging around? What type of media are you consuming? What type of words are you telling yourself? How are you viewing your life? Are you half full or half empty? And then I want you to start to think about that thing that your heart yearns for, that thing that you just can't get out your head, your heart, your body, that thing that just feels like you need to embark on it. That's the dream that I'm talking about. I want you to think about that. And from there, start to ask yourself, what little choices can I make in my life that can set me up for this future? And I want you to be graceful with yourself. I know change is hard. I know that, it's hard to choose yourself when you're not used to it, when the world feels like it's choosing everything for you, but it is essential at this moment in life that you take your power back. I have some affirmations that I want to leave you with. And just breathe deeply with me. Breathe in. Breathe out. I honor my power to choose. My choices shape my reality, one moment at a time. I choose myself with intention and care. I am allowed to choose differently than I did before. Small choices create meaningful change. I choose what nourishes my body, mind, and spirit. I trust myself to make choices aligned with my dreams. I am becoming the person I envision, one choice at a time. Choice is the revolution, guys. You choosing yourself and you choosing to create a life worth living, a life of your dreams, a life guided by God, guided by the divine. That is the resistance. That is embodying the divine. That is embodying there's more. There is more for you. I promise. You are not meant to just suffer. Life is meant to be lived and to be full and to be felt. And I hope that by you choosing yourself, by you choosing your moments intentionally, you can start to feel that. It's all working out better than you could have possibly imagined. But you got to choose to believe. And tell yourself, say it. It's working out better than I could have possibly imagined. I enjoyed this time with you guys. 45 minutes, here we are. I did feel like I was all over the place at some points, but I feel like we've honed in a little bit. We've honed in. I have some journal prompts listed in the description. This will be posted on YouTube. On my channel is Grow with Des, and it will also be posted on my podcast, Destined to be a Lotus, on most platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, other stuff. Those are the two main ones that popped into my head at this moment. I also have an Instagram _Destiny Diamond _ I am choosing to be more active in this beautiful community that I am growing. I appreciate everybody who has shown up for me, who still shows up for me even when I go into hermit mode. Life again has been doing the things, and again I just feel called to choose something different, to choose something that feels aligned. And this platform, my platforms that I have created, have always felt like a space that fills my heart. So I just want to say thank you. Um, your support means everything. Thank you to the people who have reached out to me, and just, shed that love and care. And people who have asked about when's the next podcast episode coming out. I really love y'all. I really love y'all down, because the fear gets in the way sometimes. But you guys and your kind words remind me that there's something more, and that I am doing something greater than myself. And so sometimes I need to choose to get over myself, because it's deeper than me. And it's not fair to have all of this wisdom in my head and not share it. Like, we cool. Like, I don't want to overwhelm myself. I want to be authentic. This is who I am. This is who I am on January 7th at 1:45 p.m. Thank you guys for sticking with me and just, being part of the journey. I hope you guys see that this is the journey, the lows, the highs, and they all have to stem from intentional choices. And I believe that, your journey is beautiful, and I appreciate you letting me be a part of it. So, thank you, and I will let you go. Peace, everybody.